Bill, how you doing? Good.
Good. Yep. You see now.
All right, we'll go ahead and get started. This meeting is a meeting of school board and public for the purpose of conducting the school corporation's business. It is not to be considered a public community meeting. There may be time for public participation as indicated by agenda item or as directed by the president. Meeting site is fully accessible. Any person requiring further accommodation should contact the superintendent at the school corporation central office. The meeting will be electronically recorded and be kept on file in the superintendent's office. Copy of the audio recording will also be available on the NLCS website. Website address is www.nlcs.k12.in.us. We call the meeting to order. Let the record reflect that all board members are present. And with that, rise and uncover, say the pledge. Mr. Curtis, will you lead us in the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item 3, review for approval minutes of executive session memorandum from February 18, 2021, and executive session memorandum from March 4, 2021. Get a motion to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Lambert makes the motion in a second. Mr. Garrison seconds the motion. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Thank you. Item D, person to address the board relative to the agenda. Have any cards? Seeing none, move on to item E. Mrs. Rome, claims and payroll since the last board meeting.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Claims and payroll since our last board meeting. We had late addition to our claims and payroll, so totaling $4,441,995.46. Seeking your approval for those claims and payroll.
Get a motion to approve.
Motion. Second.
Mr. Gerges makes the motion, Mr. Bailey seconds the motion. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Thank you.
Thank you. Also have a notification of the excessive funds transfer list. For those of you that were with us during the visionary committee, we indicated that the fiscal qualitative indicators committee would be looking at many different things, but one of them was our transfers from our education fund to our operations fund, and they wanted to keep that under 15%. We knew at that time that we were running right under 20% and that we were doing the necessary measures to get that within the 15% range, but we knew that we weren't in that range. During the year 2019, we were at 18.62%. During 2020, we ended up getting it down to 16.48%, but we did not get it under 15%. We're still working to get that under 15%, but we didn't make it for 2020. We did receive the notification, and in order to comply with the notification, we do have to let you know that we received the notification. We have to acknowledge that. We have to present this on our website, address it in our minutes, and then prepare a document notifying the fiscal, I can never remember what that stands for, Fiscal Qualitative Indicators Committee and the IDOE, explaining what we're doing to get that under 15%. Now that includes closing schools, not hiring based on attrition, all of the things that we're doing to keep costs under control and keep our operations fund.
Janice, do you have the dollar amount on those?
Yes, absolutely.
Of what we transferred, like what was the district transferring when we were right at 20%?
So in 2018, it didn't exist.
Okay.
Because it was the general fund and the transfers didn't exist. So 2019, it was $5,793,810 was what we transferred for the year.
5.3.
5.793 million.
Okay.
And so last
And what are we down to now?
2020, we transferred 5.3 million.
So we've seen about a 400,000 shift already, which we're getting that percent down. The nice thing is the percent has increased some because we don't have as many operations expenses. I mean, as that number started to decrease, but we're definitely, it's great news. We're headed in the right direction because we couldn't keep going the other way. And I think, you know, it's a time where if we go back a year and a half, these were things that we wanted to address, we needed to address, we had to address. And we are seeing things headed in the right direction. So I think it's important, you know, hopefully, and I fully believe next year, we won't be on that list that's over 15%. And we won't have to communicate this information in a public meeting. And, you know, we're going to be getting to where we need to be. But I say that because I know it hasn't been easy to get there. And it's been trying to educate the public, and it included some very difficult decisions. So thank you for sharing that. And that's why legally we needed to share that information this evening.
Any questions or comments? Thank you.
Thank you.
Item F, curriculum. Mr. Benton.
Yes, thank you. I have a few things this evening. First, I wanted to start, and I'm gonna try and share my screen here. And just an overview, as we start looking this summer, and this presentation is in your folders as well, but just kind of a broad overview as we start to prepare for summer. We are going to offer at NLCS more summer options than we have before, especially for our elementary and middle school students. And so just wanted to kind of go over some of those high level opportunities for you tonight. One thing, our Playful Pathways program, our community students, those children enrolled ages 3 to 5 will continue. We'll continue to operate all summer for parents that need that full year option. So that will be open. In addition, we'll have an optional sign up for current enrolled students. So maybe they just really need it school year. It might be a teacher, an employee, but they could use a week here or there. There'll be the option for them to enroll just for a week here or there, just to support a safe place to send your 3 to 5 year old this summer. For our elementary students, we'll run for our students that have completed kindergarten this year through 6th grade. We're going to run 2 sessions, June 7th through June 25th and July 6th through July 23rd at Parkview. It will be a half-day program in the morning. We have some funds for transportation, not enough to pick up from every house, but to look at what students are enrolled and create hub locations for families to help get our students to attend. And then also breakfast and lunch will be provided for students at Parkview. And during the program, students will work to build proficiency in reading and math standards. Obviously, with the shutdown in March, our teachers have done a great job this year of just continuing and growing our students, but we still have students that just need a little extra time. And so hoping this extended summer session will help to give them that time. And then also our 3rd grade students, both virtual and in person over the last 2 weeks, took the iRead 3 exam, which is a promotion exam that the state requires. So students that do not pass this first exam will have the opportunity to come this summer and be remediated on 3rd grade math skills, and then have another opportunity to take the exam in July. And then in addition, if nobody wants to come to summer school when you're just sitting and doing and practicing all day. So we really want to incorporate STEM learning every day so that kids are learning, but it's also fun and they want to come back. And so, with our Project Lead the Way curriculum and then some different hands-on activities that we have, we'll incorporate that throughout that time. So that is for our elementary program. For our middle school, our outgoing 7th and 8th graders, we're going to host 1 session from June 7th through the 28th or 25th. Sorry, it will be at BNL at the high school. Again, transportation will be from those hub locations, and breakfast and lunch will be provided, targeting math and language arts support for those students as well. Students in elementary and middle school will receive invitations or calls from teachers as they are suggested or invited to attend, and that will happen a couple of weeks after spring break. We will post tomorrow for our classroom teaching positions and see the interest we have there in teachers, and then post and then reach out to students from there. For our high school, we will continue with our virtual offering that they have done for the past few summers. This program remains similar to past years. That will start Monday, June 7th and go through Friday, July 23rd. Students that are incoming 9th graders through 12th graders can sign up to take classes. They can take up to 2 credits in the summer, and then it was BNL instructors that will lead through those and then some classes. And here are just some of the offerings, again, pending enrollment. If we don't have students enrolled, we won't run the class, but these are the offerings that students have available. And then also we have Mr. Phelps offers, oh, sorry, one more thing, I forgot. We are also talking with Mr. Tanksley and at the high school we have been talking about how to make freshman students feel more welcome and feel more comfortable at the high school. And also, I think just better understand the difference between high school and middle school. Credit is an important thing. You know, if you're struggling in a class, you know, you have to earn that credit in high school, and especially working with our virtual students, we want everyone to kind of start on the same page. How do you check your grades on Power School? So we have planned a freshman immersion program that we are trying, that we would like to offer July 19th to the 21st, and it would be to all incoming 9th grade students. So it's just helping get students on the campus to feel more comfortable with the larger building, and also exploring what opportunities and clubs are available to get students involved, and then supporting that academic piece of who do I go to, how do I check my grades, if I have this problem, kind of just giving them that background knowledge, and also providing lunch and in the cafeteria so that they're comfortable with how do you go through the lunch line. Obviously, it won't be all the students, but just those pieces, just kind of building that welcoming environment to the high school. So that's something that we are piloting this summer and just trying to include all freshman students just to help them feel comfortable. We have a committee that has great ideas of planning activities to help that. And then finally, Mr. Phelps at the Career Center is offering his supervising agricultural experience. And this is a unique opportunity that he has offered for multiple summers that allows students kind of that hands-on learning. They can complete 80 hours of work during the summer through daily tasks and projects. It can be an entrepreneurship or a placement if they're working for others, research in their area of interest. But they work with Mr. Phelps and provide summaries or reflections, and then he also visits them at their sites. And that has been a great opportunity for students to incorporate. And we have just some pictures at the end of different opportunities that our students have taken advantage of to earn that credit through that agricultural experience. So I just wanted to share kind of a general overview and where we are with getting ready for summer. That will be here before we know it. And just, you know, it has been a year like no other. And just while we have been very fortunate to have our elementary students in person for all the time the weather has permitted, just giving them even more opportunity to help and gain skills. So, any questions or about summer school? No, move on to the next.
I don't think so.
Okay.
That's no extra cost to the kids.
No extra cost to the kids. It is all of those programs are free. Yes, that's a great point. We have our summer school grant through the state that we apply for funding through. And then in addition to elementary, we have our Title I funds that we will leverage to help support that initiative as well. Also in your packet, and you may have seen in the paper, but we received a grant from the United Way through, they applied on our behalf to the GM Foundation and received 2 Makerspace grant awards for Lincoln Elementary and Parkview Elementary. In your packet are just some mock-ups. We are actually working with First Maker, who just designed and I think unveiled the Teen Center at the Boys and Girls Club. And they are an Indiana company that has worked to really embed STEM learning and create these maker spaces where students are comfortable and they have the place to build and be creative. So Lincoln and Parkview both have teams, teacher teams that they put together that we've narrowed down and spent what they feel like they will use in their buildings. And we're very excited. We hope for installation in April in their rooms so that even at the Parkview room that we could even maybe use it this summer at summer school, but then they can get rolling next year. So we are very thankful to the United Way and their support of that STEM learning in our buildings. The next I have an item that I need approval on, and that is to purchase the MBA Power School plugin. And this is a plugin that would allow us to retire our previous program that bills our book fees, runs our book fees. Also, will help track our Chromebooks and help marry all those costs that are associated with billing. So this is, and it all houses it within our student management system. So it doesn't, right now we're running 3 systems to do all of that. So this would allow us to do all of those things within our student management system, which is PowerSchool.
Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion.
Mr. Garrison makes the motion in a second.
Second.
Mr. Lundberg seconds the motion. Questions on the motion?
Is this a price increase, decrease?
It's actually a decrease.
Yeah, it is a decrease.
Where it's, yeah,
Quite
it's,
significant.
we won't have,
Quite significant.
yeah, it is.
Okay, good.
It's just a new software, but
It does more in it.
yeah.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have the approval to purchase Chromebook devices. As you know, technology has become even more in the forefront. And one of those things that we have also seen, and especially from our high school teachers, is the need to upgrade their devices. And so these are quotes to upgrade starting with the high school teachers' devices, and then looking to purchase student devices for grades 3, 6, and 9. So these quotes were taken from multiple requests, and this was the product that best met our needs and also was the lowest price.
And the only thing I would share, that's basically about a third of our teachers. But I think as we learn more and with our funding and what funding we will have and how things look, we would come back for another third. And when we feel we can, with the last third. So we do have plans to do that.
Is that this?
Yes,
And is that, so there's the front page and then there's quotes.
yeah.
Is the front,
So the front is for the teacher device. And then the second page is for 9th grade,
okay,
and then for 6th grade, and then for 3rd grade.
there's 2 different companies?
The first one is a different company because that was the lowest price, and then the last 3 are from the same company.
And we just put in your packets what we're adopting. We do have all of the
That's
bids.
fine. just
I
wanna
mean,
make
in
sure
case,
that-
but yeah. 5-star assisted with going out and putting it in for bids.
So they were part of
Yeah,
making sure that it's right.
right.
And also the devices. We are switching at the 3, 6, and 9 are switching to an HP Chromebook. It was a better price, and actually Randy worked with me, and she, because we've used Acers in the past, but they were quite a bit more expensive on this bid, and so she worked in, she has looked that actually HP is one of the top used devices in schools across the state, and I have that for you as well. If you'd like to see, she had found all the different devices that schools use, and HP is actually higher than Acer. And the thing that is great too is they use the same chargers. Right now, some of our students have Dells, which is a different charger than our Acers, but the Acers and the HPs will use the same charger, so that will be easier on the teachers and tech. So considering all those things.
Okay, can we get a motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Ayers makes the motion, Mr. Bailey seconds the motion. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Those opposed, same. Thank you.
Thank you. The final item I have for your approval is the adoption and purchase of the Art of Education art curriculum. The art teachers reached out to me think at the beginning of, maybe actually it was January, I believe, and said they really haven't had new curriculum at the elementary level in many years. And so we looked at different options, but they were also met with this vendor. And this is actually a curriculum that teachers will use, but it gives them access to projects so that they can better align with standards. So if they're working on perspective, it'll give them choices of projects that they can work on related to perspective. So the teachers will use the product. Some, curriculum, usually you put a book in front of a student's hand, but for this, the art teachers will use the product. And then it also comes with a pro learning subscription that we've opted for, and that provides professional development to the art teachers kind of in their area. Sometimes when we have PD, when we're talking about engagement strategies or things for all teachers, art teachers can be included, but when you're talking about specific reading strategies or math, sometimes our special area teachers or related areas get left out. And so this is great because it includes targeted professional development to their content area. And so this curriculum would be for all of our elementary and middle school art teachers. And then I also then reached out to the high school art teachers, and they, one of the art teachers at the high school also felt like they would utilize it. So it's one license for high school art teachers. And it's over it's for 5 years. So.
Need a motion to approve. Mr. Lambert makes the motion, a second.
Second.
Mr. Bailey seconds the motion. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maggie. Item G, personnel, Mrs. Winzak.
Thank you. Start with new hires and certified. We have Alicia Smith. We are Playful Pathway Preschool Developmental Instructor. I bring that to you for your approval.
The motion to approve. Mr. Lambert makes the motion, a second.
Second.
Mr. Gertis seconds the motion. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Thank you.
Thank you. Support staff, I have 3 instructional. Sierra Evalor will be our early learning center instructional assistant. Sydney Webb, Lincoln instructional assistant. And for custodial, Tiffany Biggs, 190-day custodian. I bring those to you for your approval.
Motion to approve.
Motion.
Mr. Bailey makes the motion, a second.
Second.
Mr. Gertis seconds the motion. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Thank you.
Thank you. 1 transfer and support staff, Rebecca Gully, transferring from Lincoln to Shawswick, instructional assistant, and I bring that to you for your approval.
Motion to approve. Mr. Lambert makes the motion, a second.
Second.
Mr. Gertis seconds the motion. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Those opposed, same. Thank you.
Thank you. For extracurricular, middle school, Michael David Adams, be our middle school girls tennis coach. Paul Gabbard, be our middle school assistant swim coach. Brent Mitchell, middle school volunteer assistant boys golf coach. At BNL, Derek Barker, be the BNL head football coach. Jacqueline Dufresne, be the BNL head girls soccer coach. John Epping, BNL unified track assistant coach. Corey Johnston, BNL head girls golf coach. And Michael Wright, the BNL head boys golf coach. I bring those to you for your approval.
The motion to approve. Mr. Gertis makes the motion, in a second.
Second.
Mr. Garrison seconds the motion. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Thank you.
Thank you. And information, I have one more approval, and that is a deduct day for Sam Haddon, requesting to take 1 deduct day on April 2nd. Bring that to you for your approval.
So moved.
Mr. Lambert makes the motion, in a second.
Second.
Mr. Garrison seconds the motion. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Those opposed, same. Thank you.
Thank you. And under information, have Some resignations, Gavin Blackman as custodian, Brianna Ginn resigning as instructional assistant, Sandra Thorpe resigning as a 52-week custodian. And also some retirements. We're certified to have Jill Plunder retiring as a preschool instructor after 18 years of service. Have Betsy Maximenko retiring as a student support specialist after 34 years of service, and she's with us tonight. Thank you, Betsy. Jeff Richardson is retiring as BNL instructor effective after 17 years of service. And Lydia Weber retiring as Lincoln Elementary instructor after 35 years of service. And for support staff, we have Tim Fleetwood retiring after as an NLCS custodian after 31 years of service. So thank you to all of our retirees on this month's board. That's all I have tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Linzak. Publicly on behalf of the board, thank you for all the service to NLCS, and thank you for being here. Not to put you on the spot, but if you'd like to say anything, you're welcome. But thank you for coming. We appreciate that many years of support to NLCS.
And Coach Barker, would you like to share anything or any comments?
Not to put you on the spot either.
Not to put you on the spot, but we're great to have you. And I know, obviously, being the head football coach, a lot of young men are excited, and we're grateful to have you. And just wanted to share that with.
Yeah.
Take that moment now at this time.
Sure. Just thank you guys. Really excited, like you said, to work with the young men and just get us going in the right direction and win in the community, win in the classroom, and win on the football field. So thank you all.
Great.
Thanks for coming. Moving on, item H. Dr. Mo.
I'd like to just take a moment. I know they're not here this evening, but at times we have employees that truly go above and beyond. And I just wanted to share with you this evening. One, I know Sandra Thorpe, our custodian at the high school, she has resigned, but she is working with one of our students, and she truly went above and beyond out at the high school and meeting the needs of one of our students. And I just wanted to bring that to the board's attention. Also, Amy Donica is another support staff and employee that stepped up and met the needs of one of our students, and I think clearly went above and beyond and came back to work one evening to assist. And we'll be getting them a recognition, but I just wanted to share both of their names this evening, how grateful we are to have them in our schools and working with our children. We did have a few, I know, the retirements on our agenda tonight, but we will recognize and invite Betsy and others back at a meeting, but we just wanted to go ahead as we receive some of those to get them. And I think it does kind of give our principals and everybody kind of the opportunity to start thinking about next year, which it's hard to believe that it's here, but we will be providing something to all of them. And I know even with COVID and going with our virtual meetings almost a year ago, we will do our best to step back and recognize those in the past as well. So I wanted to share that. I'd also like to ask, I know, and we didn't have it on the agenda, but I know Mr. Zalman's here this evening. I know we've been working hard on some projects at the high school and he's been doing a great job with working with the MOTS group and some of the progress, all the progress that's been made on the athletic fields. And I think when you do that. I know a lot with even electric lines that were maybe in a place we didn't know and having to get all those things fixed. I know being a resource, they made a lot of great progress over here, the whole backside at Stalker. But anything Mr. Zalman would like to share or any questions you may have?
No, I'm sure you're well aware of what we've got going on, so, and I'm working out to make a list of future projects for this spring and summer for, some approvals. And that's with the EFS and HVAC and some other big projects we have on the books. So, yeah.
And we've got a little project at the football field that we'll do too this summer. Okay.
Thanks, Tommy.
Yeah. I have for you approval of a resolution opposing education savings accounts and a voucher expansion. This is something that school districts across the state of Indiana, I think there was about a week ago, there was over 92 school districts, school boards that have adopted this. This is taking a large amount of taxpayers' funds, and I think putting it, we feel a lot of ways away from our public schools. And I think when you look at doing that, not only in taking it away from our public schools, but we also take it away from a publicly elected board to help manage and oversee the site of those taxpayers' funds. So I bring that resolution to you tonight for your adoption. It is something I'm sure many of you have seen with the Indiana School Boards Association and across the state. I honestly cannot remember at one time when so many organizations, from the Indiana State Teachers Association to the Superintendents Association to the School Boards Association, all of the different educational groups, Indiana Association of School Business Officials, all have opposed this use of these funds in the amount that they're looking at taking away. So I bring that to you for your adoption this evening, and I will be sure and communicate that to the Indiana School Boards Association, because as we get these, they've asked for us to provide those back to them.
Get a motion to approve.
Motion.
Mr. Bailey makes the motion. Mr. Kirby seconds the motion. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Thank you.
Next up, we just need your approval to continue our NLCS summer food service program like we've done in the past. Just need board's approval for that. We'll participate with that program. Typically, that is a program that I think on average, if we've looked at the past years, it does cost us some. But obviously, we feel that the service outweighs the cost. It's typically been about $25,000 to $30,000 a year is what it cost us. But the opportunity to provide meals in the summer, and we might not even see a decrease just because we want to have probably the largest summer school program and robust in the 2 sessions that North Lawrence has probably ever had. Just with COVID and everything. So by having those students participate in the meal program, there's a possibility that we won't even see a decrease.
Who's that made available to, Ty?
It's made available to any students, any individuals in the summer. And historically, we've always, I think for the most part, had it at BMS because one, it was the site that we've been able to get the most individuals to come to. We've tried it at Olynyk. We've tried, I think, some at Lincoln and at Parkview in the past, but that is a site. But with us using Parkview this summer, we will move the location from BMS to Parkview because, we will be using Parkview Primary and Parkview Intermediate for the summer program.
Get a motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Graves makes the motion. Mr. Lambert seconds the motion. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Thank you.
I'm gonna have Mr. Pittman share on the next item on the agenda.
Mr. Pittman.
Thank you, Mr. President. We are in a position now where the school corporation is ready to move forward with the sale of Heltonville Elementary School. There are approximately 19.75 acres plus the building. Indiana statute 36.1.11.4 authorizes the school to sell real estate. You have to get 2 appraisals. We've done that. The high appraisal is $779,000. And part of the requirement under the statute is to establish a minimum bid. So there will be a notice put in the newspaper to bidders. It'll establish a minimum bid. So any bid under the minimum obviously won't be accepted. And those will be submitted at, I believe we're going to set that for the April meeting as a deadline. Then once those bids come in, if we receive more than 1 bid, then the bidders can continue to increase their bid over a period of 60 days, not to exceed 60 days. So that'll also be in the notice and that runs in the newspaper. So I believe the recommendation from administration is to establish the minimum bid at $350,000. That's well under the appraised amount. The board would have the opportunity to reject bids. You could reject all bids if you would want to under the statute. But that would allow some room for to open up to as many bidders as possible, hopefully. So with that, we would recommend that you authorize the advertising a notice to bidders and establish a minimum bid at $350,000 for Heltonville Elementary School.
A motion to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Longert makes the motion. Mr. Garrison seconds the motion. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Thank you.
Mr. President, I obviously in this week's media and I guess phone calls that I've received, and I know many of you on the school board have received, I'd like to just share a statement because there was several false accusations that were shared, not only in the media, but I think also some being shared in the public via a petition and other things. So I wanted to take a moment and share a statement concerning Springville and Fayetteville Elementary Schools. From the very beginning, when the Visionary Committee was formed and made recommendations to the NLCS administration, a primary concern was the future use of any NLCS facility that would no longer be used for school purposes. North Lawrence Community Schools' goal following the closure was to secure an owner that could provide employment opportunities, maintain the facility, and enhance our community. The township schools were originally built from township funds and often on land donated by families. However, the current schools were built with taxpayers' funds from the entire North Lawrence Community School District and not those of a single township. Concerns have been expressed that NLCS already has plans for these buildings. This is far from the truth. None of these buildings have been shown to prospective buyers or shown for an intended use. We were saddened to hear that a petition is being circulated in Indian Creek Township falsely accusing NLCS of planning to sell the building to be used for a jail or detention center. This is simply not true. It was also misrepresented in the media based upon statements made at the Indian Creek Township meeting earlier this week that NLCS has agreed to take the school buildings back if they are no longer used for a school and assume the debt. This is also not true. NLCS will have an option to accept Springville Elementary School back, but not if there is a debt on the building. There is no agreement regarding the Fayetteville Elementary School building. And I will also say, we have not formally approved an agreement with Springville Elementary School yet either. NLCS's overall goal was to find a viable use of these buildings in a partnership with community leaders. We have no intentions of taking any building back once ownership is transferred to the township without a right of refusal dependent on the condition or loans being placed against a facility. NLCS feels it is important that all taxpayers know this decision is being made by the Perry or Indian Creek townships. The future use of these facilities and how they will be maintained will be determined by each township if they decide to accept an offer to transfer them back to the township. I just felt it was important that we share those comments. And honestly, I was a bit saddened because I know that obviously we didn't receive a formal invitation to those buildings. And if we had, as the superintendent of the school district, I would have attended that building, or that we could have been contacted about our belief or our position if we had accepted an agreement or if there was an agreement. We do our actions in this boardroom. And I think we're very public about that with our agendas and what you approve and everything that is done. So I just wanted to share that kind of on behalf of myself, and I think NLCS, and I think also some of our employees. But I think it also kind of shares some of the comments that maybe you feel also as a board. So that's all I have this evening.
So what you're saying, that the media printed this stuff and they didn't call to verify any information with you, they just printed it and went with it.
Correct.
Nice.
Thank you for sharing that. Anything else? Okay, moving on. Closing business. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's get the item I persons to address the board. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Eric Johnson. I currently live out at 39 Morningside Drive in Springville. I've come tonight before the board because of an issue that happened at the school system that my children go to. Last 5 years, my children have attended Stalker Elementary. They were transfer students down here because of when we first moved here. After Stalker Elementary was closed, my children started attending Needmore because that's the school district where we're currently residing. Last month, I was notified by the principal that one of my children was witnessed using her Chromebook to email another teacher. And at first I was kind of like trying to figure out what was going on. I asked for copies of the emails. Principal had my daughter's computer for a couple of days. It took her a couple of days because the students' emails are not able to be downloaded or printed. So she sent them to herself and then forwarded them to me. I went through all the emails. There was nothing that I felt was inappropriate from the teacher or from my daughter to the teacher. The reason why my daughter had contacted this teacher was that this individual was her teacher while she was at Stalker 1 year. She used this individual was basically, she felt as a mentor, somebody that she could confide in, somebody that she could go to when she had an issue. Being at a new school, she had to make new friends, new students. Everything that she knew was taken away from her when Stalker closed. She was having some issues fitting in. She was having some issues with some other teachers. She had gone to the counselor. She had gone to her teacher. One of the comments that was even made to me was there was so much drama, they just really don't understand why it's all going on. So she wasn't getting really any satisfaction from the school that she attended. So she reached out to this teacher. My daughter was punished for reaching out to this teacher. She was punished by, number one, they took her computer. Yes, they had it for the first 2 days to get me the emails, which I understand. The Wednesday morning that she got the computer back, we had a meeting with the principal. The last thing that principal said to my daughter as we left that meeting was, if you want to email this teacher, you need to do it on your own time from your parents' devices. My question is, why would we punish a student for reaching out to an adult if she's having a problem? My thing is, we should encourage a student to reach out if they're having an issue. Doesn't matter if that teacher is in another building, as long as it's not interfering with the education, as long as it's not interfering with that teacher with their responsibilities. And none of these emails were very long in nature. They were very short, very to the point. But I have a problem with the fact that she got punished and her computer was taken away. She got it back on Wednesday, but then for the next 3 days, she had to give it back to the teacher after education time. She was under supervised use according to the policy. And when she had her computer taken away on the Tuesday, of course, she had to do everything by hand. She had to sit next to another student, use their Chromebook, write everything down so she could turn it in. They were working on one subject. They were discussing the Titanic, and they were discussing the menus of food for the different classes, class 1, 2, and 3. Class 3, for the class 3 folks, they were discussing where they had moldy bread. And my daughter and the person she was sitting next to kind of laughed about it because it's kind of funny. They said, that's not even really food. You're going to give people moldy bread. They were caught kind of talking. The substitute teacher that she had made my daughter move away from her, put her back in her seat, told her she was getting a strike for the day for talking, and then told her, you can fail the assignment and you can tell your teacher tomorrow why you didn't get the assignment done. I'm sorry, but that again was very wrong for a teacher to do. It was a substitute teacher. I feel it's wrong to punish a student for reaching out for a teacher. When we teach our children, if you have a problem, find an adult you trust, find one that you can go to, and yet we're going to punish her. I think this policy needs to really be looked at, as long as there's not, again, taking away from education, not taking it away from the teacher's education. There should be no reason why any student should have their computer taken away for emailing somebody in another building. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Any other persons to address the board? Seeing none, item J, closing business. Upcoming meetings. There will be an executive session at 5:15 PM on Thursday, April 8th, 2021 at the NLCS Administration Building. There will be an executive session at 5:15 PM and a regular session 6:30 on Thursday, April 22nd, 2021 at the NLCS Administration Building. With that, take a motion to adjourn. Garrison makes the motion, Mr. Gerger seconds the motion. Questions on the motion, seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same. Thank you.